Chapter 4193. Okay, I'll definitely tell her. Thank you, everyone. After dealing with everyone's enthusiasm, Qin Chu walked into the ward with the twins. Jixin was wiping Bella's face, so Yang Meirong was alone in the room. When the children came in, she was watching TV. Grandma, Grandma, the two little guys ran over one after another and called out sweetly. Yang Meirong was in a good mood. She immediately got up and leaned against the headboard. "Oh, my babies, come, let Grandma take a look. Be careful, Grandma is still sick and is still getting an injection. Don't touch Grandma's fore," Qin Chu reminded them in a low voice. "Got it, Daddy." Little Bean nodded mischievously and took out a lollipop that someone had just given her. She handed it to Grandma. "Grandma, have some candy. When I was sick and had an injection, my mommy would give me candy and I wouldn't feel so much pain." "You're a smart girl, you're a glutton." Yang Meirong smiled brightly. "Grandma, do you want some water? I'll get you some." Pudding, on the other hand, was more low-key and wanted to pour water for Grandma. "Grandma, why are you sick? You were so careless. Did you go out to square dance and forget to wear long johns?" Little Bean asked with her hands on her hips. "Ha, don't make Grandma laugh. My stomach hurts from laughing." As soon as Little Bean opened her mouth, everyone was overjoyed. Qin Chu took the opportunity to sit on the sofa in the ward and take out his phone. He opened his email and read the company's emails. The two children were like pistachios, coaxing Grandma. When Grandma was young, she didn't wear long johns because she wanted to look beautiful. But now that I'm old, I have to wear them. I wear them every day. Pudding walked to the end of the bed and gently lifted the blanket. "Grandma, are your legs sore? I'll rub them for you." No. "My babies, I'm happy that you came to see me. You don't have to do anything. I know you're good children." Yang Meirong had an drip in one hand and her other hand never left the two children. She patted Pudding's head and kissed Little Bean's face. She was so happy. During dinner, Yang Meirong ate more than usual when the nurse brought her a nutritious meal. The two children sang English songs and danced the Little Swan Ballet for their grandmother. Yang Meirong was elated. They stayed there until 7 o'clock in the evening, and the two children were a little sleepy. Qin Chu then stood up and said, "Mom, we'll go back first. We'll visit you in a few days." "Yes, the road is slippery. Be careful when you drive, Chu," Yang Meirong said. "Sure." As Qin Chu walked out with the twins, Little Bean suddenly asked a strange question. "Daddy, why isn't the new grandpa here to take care of Grandma? Grandma is so sick. Isn't he Grandma's husband?" Qin Chu was speechless. "Grandpa probably ran away when he found out that Grandma was sick. He doesn't look like a reliable person," Pudding said with her head lowered. "Yes, he went on a long trip and hasn't returned yet." As for the children, Qin Chu didn't say much. He just vaguely responded, "Daddy, I like this Grandma. I like the grandpa in America." This was what Little Bean said. Pudding nodded in agreement, which was rare. "Daddy, when will that grandpa come to our house again?" Pudding was actually thinking that since Grandpa was such a powerful person, he might be able to see through this strange mommy when he came to their house. Chapter 4194. That Grandpa. I reckon he'll be here soon. Qin Chu had a feeling that if there was really a big plan behind this, Professor Lu would definitely come. In that case, Professor Lu would definitely show up. After all, this was beyond his ability to deal with. Imagine, someone as powerful as Lu Yen had gone to Yunnan with him. But after the explosion, Lu Yen mysteriously disappeared. How terrifying was the power behind it that could make Lu Yen disappear without a trace in the blink of an eye, and even her corpse was nowhere to be found? No one knew. But Qin Chu knew that those people weren't simple. In fact, ever since he and Rick found out that Zhao Qingya's backer was related to the Doomsday Reaper, they had been worried. Qin Chu had begun to worry. All these years, the Doomsday Reaper was only a legend and no one had seen it. Qin Chu's only keepsake, the lighter, it was given to him by a mysterious woman in the U. For years ago, could it be that those people had been targeting him since 4 years ago? The more he thought about it, the more confused he became. Later, Qin Chu didn't hear what the twins asked him. At the headquarters of Imperial Star, At the last minute, Su Yu worked overtime and held a high-level meeting. When he came out, it was already 8 p.m. When he went downstairs, he ran into Han Yueyao on the first floor. "Why are you still here?" Su Yu was puzzled. "Spicy hot pot. Can't you taste it?" "Spicy hot pot?" Su Yu was confused. "Yeah, I danced until late too. I heard from my agent that you worked late too. You and probably haven't eaten yet, right? Let's go eat spicy hot pot together. I know there's a new restaurant across the street, and it's super delicious. The chili is all flown in from Chongqing. The owner is from Sichuan." Han Yueyao said so much because she wanted Su Yu to eat with her, and snickered and coughed. "Well, you two go ahead. I can't eat anything too spicy, or I'll get a stomachache. I've been craving Xianxia Rujiamo recently. I'll drive to the Xianxia Liangbi in the commercial square to eat." "All right, let's go then. Come back to pick me up after you're done eating." Su Yu gave the car key to An and walked with Han Yueyao to the spicy hot pot restaurant she had mentioned. Actually, these snacks were what young girls like to eat. Su Yu really didn't like these. He agreed because there were a lot of people near the elevators on the first floor. If he refused, the little girl would lose face. So, Su Yu went to the spicy hot pot restaurant with her without hesitation. There were a lot of people in the mala tang shop. Fortunately, the two of them managed to find a table for two in the corner. She asked excitedly, "Boss Su, what do you want to eat?" "Anything is fine. Just order." Su Yu didn't know how to cook because he hadn't eaten it before. She went to the buffet area and picked up a lot of vegetables. Since Su Yu was a carnivore, she added more meat. When she paid the bill, it was 98 yuan. She took 2 bottles of iced soda, which was famous locally for its sweet and sour taste. It cost a total of 102 yuan. When Han Yueyao sat back down, Su Yu couldn't help but sigh. "Am I too outdated? I don't know what these things are. Isn't spicy hot pot a few yuan for a big bowl? Why did you spend more than 100 yuan? Ha, how many years has it been since you last ate this? A few yuan is the price 10 years ago, right?" Han Yueyao teased Su Yu. Su Yu was speechless. "How was the sushi you had with Sister Mian for lunch?" Han Yueyao asked casually. "It was delicious and authentic. It tasted similar to the ones I had in Osaka. I'll take you there when I'm free." Su Yu was scrolling through his WeChat moments on his cell phone and said casually. But Han Yueyao felt sweet in her heart, and her cheeks blushed. Chapter 4195. As the two of them were eating, 2 girls walked over from a nearby table. They looked to be about 17 or 18 years old. "No autographs, no photos," Su Yu said in a formal tone. After all, Su Yu had many fangirls. So, there was a reason why he didn't like to come to such a civilian restaurant. Usually, he would have a private room for his gatherings. This was the first time he ate in such a public place. In order to get to know Huamin better, he went to Xianxia's ramen a few times. Once, he was blocked by a group of girls in Xianxia's ramen, asking for autographs and photos. The sleeves of the new Armani shirt he bought for Su Yu were torn open. From then on, Su Yu decided not to play the role of a black-faced uncle and directly rejected them. Who knew? The 2 girls ignored Su Yu and looked at Han Yueyao politely. Han Yueyao, you're so beautiful in person. Your face is so small. We're fans of your dance. We're all from the dance academy. The dances you participated in were very difficult, but you did a great job. We like you so much." "Thank you," Han Yueyao replied politely. "Can we take a photo with you?" "Of course." "Wow, you're awesome." So, the 2 girls took photos with Han Yueyao. Then, they left happily. Su Yu looked embarrassed. Han Yueyao didn't know what to say. She was afraid that if she offended the president, he would fling his sleeves and leave. "Boss, is the spicy hot pot not ready yet?" Su Yu shouted at the top of his voice. "Right away." Then, the waiter brought 2 bowls of steaming spicy hot pot. Su Yu buried his head in the food to ease the awkwardness. Seeing his cute appearance, Han Yueyao almost laughed out loud. "Eat slowly. It's super spicy." After Han Yueyao said this, Su Yu felt the impact on his taste buds. "What? Give me water." She used her chopsticks to open the iron lid of the soda bottle, looking very dashing. Then he hurriedly passed it to Suyu. Suyu gulped down 2 big mouthfuls before he finally felt better. Sichuan's chili really lived up to its reputation. The way you opened the bottle just now. Isn't he super handsome? Han Yueyao said smugly. Well, can it also be used to open beer? Of course. I learned it from my dad. When he made it, I thought it was so cool. I wanted to learn it, Han Yueyao said proudly. Teach me. Suyu was domineering and asked Han Yueyao to teach him. Sure, take the money. You really only have money in your eyes. Money, money, money everywhere. Suyu blushed with shame. It's fine if you don't want to pay. Call me master and I'll teach you. You're shameless. You want me to call you master? Suyu looked at the arrogant little girl sitting across from him in amusement. If you're willing to call me master, I can be shameless for a while, Han Yueyao reacted quickly and retorted. Pretend I didn't say anything. Suyu lowered his head and continued to eat the spicy hot pot. Han Yueyao naughtily picked up her bottle of soda. Then, she picked up her chopsticks and performed another wonderful performance. With a bang, the bottle cap was opened without him seeing how she did it. Suyu couldn't help but raise his head again, his eyes filled with admiration. I'll give you an 88 yuan red pocket. Teach me, he bargained. You're a profiteer. You want to steal my skills for only 88 yuan? In your dreams. Han Yueyao was even more smug. Chapter 4196. I'll give you an extra 10 yuan at most. 98 yuan. Are you going to teach me or not? You're the president, the big boss, but you're asking for 98 yuan. I despise you. I won't teach you. Whoa. Little girl, you've got guts. You're all grown up now? You chose to go against me because you're famous and have fans. Do you believe that I'll make things difficult for you? Suyu reached out and naughtily flicked Han Yueyao's head. He felt like he was playing with a child. Han Yueyao's heart was blooming with sweetness. She didn't expect Suyu to be so naive and cute. It's good to make things difficult for you. Come on, remember to make things difficult for me, Suyu chuckled. The best thing about Han Yueyao was that she could say whatever was on her mind. So, he didn't have to pretend to be a big boss in front of her. He didn't have to think about whether he would get angry if he said too much. Instead, he felt relaxed. The atmosphere was so good that Suyu's appetite was stimulated. After finishing his spicy hot pot, he snatched a few bites from Han Yueyao. After they finished eating, they walked back to Han Yueyao's dorm. Suyu sent in a WeChat message and asked him to pick him up at Han Yueyao's dorm after they finished eating. On their way back, Han Yueyao suddenly thought of what happened during the day and asked Suyu, President Su, Sister Mian seems to be very close to you recently. Mian has been acting strange recently. Is there something on her mind? Han Yueyao felt that Huamin wasn't the kind of person who would take the initiative to look for Suyu again and again. After all, Huamin knew how to avoid suspicion. She seems to be on bad terms with Qin Chu recently. How can that be? President Qin is famous for doting on his wife. Han Yueyao was surprised. Suyu's expression was unnatural. Maybe it's because too many things have happened recently. No matter how powerful or talented the couple is, they're still ordinary people and have emotions. The loss of the child is a big blow to everyone. Qin Chu has feelings for her, and Mian feels uncomfortable. So, everyone's in a bad mood. When we talk, we have conflicts. It's okay. I'll try to persuade her. Then, will President Qin feel uncomfortable with Sister Mian being so close to you? Han Yueyao was worried. Because Suyu was a public figure, many paparazzi were willing to take pictures. If someone were to take a picture of it and use it as a topic of discussion, it would break the pressure of public opinion. In the end, it might not end well. Huamian used to pay attention to this and rarely saw Suyu alone. But now, for some reason, he kept looking for Suyu. Even Han Yueyao found it strange. But Suyu thought it was all because of that incident and didn't find Huamin's behavior strange. They walked to the door of the dorm. Let's go back. It's cold outside. Don't stand here like an idiot, Suyu said. Is the spicy hot pot delicious? Han Yueyao looked up at Suyu, her heart pounding. Yeah, not bad. Then I'll treat you to it often, Han Yueyao said. Su Yu's expression was unnatural. He changed the topic. How's the cooking reality show going? I'm still learning. I heard we'll shoot the first season in Thailand. Isn't that good? You can take it as a free trip. Su Yu chuckled. Then I'll be away from the country for a week. Yeah. Thank God. I won't see you for a week. That way, I won't have to quarrel with others. Did you miss me even a little bit when I was abroad for so long? Han Yueyao was unwilling to give up and questioned him boldly. Chapter 4197. Sure enough, Su Yu blushed when he heard Han Yueyao's question. It's late. Hurry up and go in. An's car is here. Su Yu didn't answer Han Yueyao's question. He didn't know how to respond to a girl's confession. He seemed to have forgotten how good he was at flirting with girls and indulging himself in debauchery before he met Huamin a few years ago. By the time An's car arrived, Su Yu had already walked more than half a mile. He was trying to avoid Han Yueyao's questions. That girl always asked explicit questions. Su Yu didn't know how to answer her. President Su, how was your dinner with Miss Han? And began to gossip. Pretty good. President Su, if it's a full score of 10, how many points would you give Miss Han? And asked as he drove. What do you mean? Su Yu glanced at An in puzzlement. It's the scoring that's very popular on the internet recently. I'm just asking you. Tell me, I'm curious. Han Yueyao is a hardworking and ambitious girl. She's pretty and a good person. If it's a full score of 10, I'll give her an 8. What about Dr. Hua? 10, Su Yu blurted out. Sure enough, no matter how many shortcomings Huamin had, he was always the best in Su Yu's eyes. But you're biased. I won't ask. Xiaoan thought to himself, isn't this bias a little too obvious? In fact, Huamin was far less good-looking than Han Yueyao, and his figure wasn't as sexy as Han Yueyao's, who was a dancer. Even Huamin didn't smile as much as Han Yueyao. His face was serious. But no matter how bad she was, Su Yu loved her. That was the main point. Seeing his boss's attention was still on Dr. Hua, and stopped asking. He had wanted to set up a relationship between Han Yueyao and his boss. But now it seemed impossible. After all, his boss hadn't thought in that direction yet. Gao family, he had thought that after Jingda's death, the vampire's case would be over. Gao Ran would be able to accompany his wife and son on a vacation. Unexpectedly, such a case still happened. It was 7 o'clock in the evening. A kindergarten reported that 2 5-year-old children, a boy and a girl, had gone missing. He checked the surveillance footage but found nothing. This kindergarten was a kind of long-term nursery. The children whose parents were especially busy and had no time to take care of them were placed here. They ate, lived, and attended classes here, and were only brought home on weekends. At night, when the life teacher was bathing the children, she realized that there was one person missing. He searched everywhere, but there was no sign of him. In the end, he panicked and went to look for the principal. Then, the principal brought the teacher to the police. Originally, in China, a missing person would not be registered if it was less than 24 hours. However, when Gao Ran heard about this matter, he felt that it was very strange. Why did she lose the child again? Last time, when the children's bodies were fished out from the lake, their parents had cried miserably. This time, were the 2 children really lost by accident, or were they stolen by a group of kidnappers? Or, was there another reason? Gao Ran led his team to search for clues all night but found nothing. When he drove home dejectedly, the children were already asleep. Zhu Lingling sat on the sofa with her legs crossed in displeasure. Honey, you're still awake? Chief Gao, you must keep your word. When are you going to take Buyuan and me on a vacation, okay? Zhu Lingling questioned him with a dark face. Chapter 4198. Upon hearing this, Gao Ran licked his dry lips guiltily. Then he took off his jacket, sat down beside Zhu Lingling, and put an arm around her shoulder. Zhu Lingling shrugged him, showing her dissatisfaction with his late return. Honey, listen to me, don't tell me that. I just want to ask you, are you going or not? Zhu Lingling felt wronged. She thought that Gao Ran would have more free time now that he was promoted. At least, he didn't have to work as a leader. However, she didn't know that he was even busier now that he was the chief of the police force. He worked on many cases himself. Zhu Lingling knew Gao Ran well. He worked so hard not because he was addicted to being an official. He really liked this job. Gao Ran had a clear goal when he was in high school. Being a police officer was like his father. It was a lie to say that he wanted to serve the people, but he wanted to get rid of the evil and bring peace to the good. However, ever since Gao Ran was promoted, Zhu Lingling and her family rarely went out on weekends. Not to mention going to Northern Europe with their parents to see the aurora and Hawaii like other children. Gao Buyuan was still young and didn't know how to complain, but Zhu Lingling did. She also envied others who had husbands who loved and cared for them. Yes. I promised you that I'd go. When will you go? Zhu Lingling pressed. Can you wait until I'm done with this case? Gao Ran felt a little guilty. Another case. Do you spend your days with cases or with me? Have you forgotten about this family? Of course not. Lingling, don't be angry. You have to understand me. Sometimes, Gao Ran was also helpless. The job required someone to fill the position. Upon hearing this, Zhu Lingling got even angrier. She stood up in a flash and pointed at Gao Ran. Her eyes were red as she said aggrievedly, Gao Ran, ever since I've been with you, don't you know how much I've been understanding of you? While other people were eating steak and holding roses in a Western restaurant on Valentine's Day, you were working overtime. When other people are celebrating Goddess Day and watching movies together, you're working overtime. When other people are celebrating their wedding anniversary, you can't wait to spend the entire day being lovey-dovey with each other, but you're still working overtime. When it's my birthday, you have to come back in the middle of the night. The cake has already melted, and the dishes have already turned cold. In fact, how many times have I driven your son to the hospital in the middle of the night when he was sick with a high fever? Are you the busiest person in the world? Are you the President of the United States or the Chairman of the United Nations? Zhu Lingling burst out like a volcano, probably because she had been suppressing her anger for too long. Gao Ran's mood was very complicated. He knew that his wife had been wronged, but what could he do? Don't tell me I'm going to be a bureau chief who eats food but doesn't do anything? That wasn't like him either. Maybe the two of them were arguing too loudly, but Gao Buyuan woke up in a daze. He opened the door and walked out. Did you two fight? Zhu Lingling turned her head away. Her eyes were red and she didn't say anything. Gao Ran picked up his son and kissed him in his arms. It's okay. We didn't fight. Mom scolded Dad one-sidedly. Dad accepted it completely. Why don't you two give birth to a younger sister for me? Gao Buyuan's words made Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran speechless. Who said that to you? Grandpa and Grandma said it. They said that if there was a younger sister in the house, the atmosphere would be better. Mom would be busier to take care of a younger sister, so she wouldn't worry about whether Dad is busy or not. Your grandparents are really good at talking. Zhu Lingling was so angry that she almost rolled her eyes. What if we have a younger brother? Gao Ran was amused by his son. Chapter 4199. We don't need a younger brother. I'm the only boy in our family. Obviously, Gao Buyuan didn't want a younger brother. He only needed a younger sister. What if we have a younger brother? Gao Ran's interest was piqued and he continued to tease his son. Then we'll have to throw him into a cesspool. Gao Ran was speechless, Zhu Lingling was speechless. Then I don't think we should have a younger brother. You'll be the only one. Gao Ran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Don't fight. Little Bean told me that children who grow up in a quarreling environment will be very grumpy. You don't want me to grow up to be a grumpy man, right? Zhu Lingling was speechless. Gao Ran, you're right. No, Little Bean told me that. It's all good advice. Think about it. Gao Buyuan's grown-up tone eased the atmosphere a lot, and it wasn't as tense as before. Seeing that his parents were silent, Gao Buyuan asked again, I need to pee. Can someone come with me to the bathroom now? Zhu Lingling secretly wiped her tears, picked up her son, and carried him to the bathroom. Gao Buyuan had saved his dad, but Gao Ran's heart was still heavy. He kept reading the latest updates from his colleagues in the group chat on his phone. The two kids still hadn't been found. The parents and the kindergarten hadn't received any ransom calls. If that was the case, the situation seemed to be even worse. Gao Ran picked up his phone and sent a few voice messages to Qin Chu on WeChat, briefly explaining the situation. Gao Ran emphasized, "Chu, you're sure Jingde is dead, right? Did he come back from the dead? Why do I feel that this is very similar to his?" After a while, Qin Chu replied, "I killed Jingde with my own hands. His body has been burned to ashes." Gao Ran trusted Qin Chu's ability. He didn't seem like an unreliable person. But since Jingde was dead, who was the culprit of the missing children? Damn it, Sea City, which had been peaceful for 100 years, had recently been in a state of panic. The pressure from the higher-ups was a small matter. The key was that Gao Ran understood the feelings of the parents when their children were gone. He was also a father, so he worked overtime without sleep, hoping to find some clues. Unfortunately, he found nothing. It was as if a deity had committed a crime, leaving no evidence behind. South Hill Manor. Qin Chu was in the study. Looking at the WeChat message that Gao Ran had sent him, he started to have doubts in his heart. It was a fact that Jingde was dead. Then, there was only one person who was the most suspicious, and that was the woman at home. She had enough time to commit the crime, but why did she and Jingde keep torturing and killing children? Qin Chu didn't interrogate him, but Jingde was indeed a monster. He drained the blood of those children, which was why there were rumors about vampires. Could it be that this woman was also? The more Qin Chu thought about it, the more confused he became. He opened the door and went downstairs. Huamin had just returned from outside, carrying an exquisite lunchbox in his hand. "Mommy, you're back," Little Bean called out affectionately. Pudding glanced at her and didn't call her mommy. "I went out for a walk and saw the new pastries from Wan Hezhai, so I bought some. It's very interesting. You can choose the ingredients and let them process them. You can eat them without worry." "Wow, there's delicious food. Thank you, Mommy." The little foodie didn't dare to say anything. She took the lunchbox and opened it. Indeed, there were colorful pastries inside. "Sis, come and eat with us," Little Bean called out to Pudding. "Mommy, I have something to discuss with you," Pudding looked at Huamin and said weakly. Chapter 4200. Huamin took off his jacket and hung it up. Then he sat down on the sofa and leaned back. "Baby, what is it?" "My classmate's golden retriever gave birth to a baby. I want to adopt one." "Wow, that's a good idea. I really like golden retrievers too." Little Bean was overjoyed. It was natural for children to like animals. Unexpectedly, Huamin's face darkened. "Why, Mommy? Don't you like dogs too?" "I like them, but they're not clean. They have parasites on them," Huamin said. "They won't. We'll take good care of them. We'll give them regular injections, baths, and checkups. There won't be any bacteria." "Don't say any more. I won't agree to this. We can't have any cats or dogs at home in the future. I don't like them." It was obvious that Huamin disliked small animals. "Mommy, you used to like them a lot. You were the one who took care of the rabbits that Sis and I raised." Little Bean looked aggrieved. "The past is the past. The present is the present. I have enough to worry about raising you two children at home. I don't have the time to raise a pet." Huamin's words made the two children very unhappy. But no one dared to disobey her. Her grandparents had gone to a good friend's house and hadn't returned yet. The servants didn't dare to interrupt. They all knew that the young madam had the final say at home. "I'll ask Daddy about this. Maybe he'll agree." Pudding seemed to be unhappy with Huamin's reaction. She didn't give up just because her mother said that she couldn't raise it. Instead, she said that she would ask Daddy. This sentence completely infuriated Huamin. "Pudding, stop right there." Pudding didn't seem to hear him. She wanted to go upstairs to find Qin Chu. Then, Huamin moved quickly and grabbed Pudding's collar. With a fierce tug from behind, Pudding was easily dragged back. He had to admit that this woman was very strong. "I'm talking to you, didn't you hear me? Is this how you talk to Mommy?" Huamin glared at him. Pudding didn't say anything. She just looked at the woman in front of her with dissatisfaction. "You're not old, but you have quite a temper. Let me tell you, Pudding, you can't keep a dog. It's useless to ask your daddy. I have the final say in this matter. What right do you have to be so domineering? Because I'm your mother. My mother wouldn't be like you. You're not like my mother at all. You've become so scary. I don't like the current you. You're too selfish and cold. Pudding's emotions, which she had been suppressing for days, suddenly burst out. Many hurtful words were also blurted out. Huamin went up and slapped Pudding hard on the face. Perhaps it was because her fingernails were too long, they scratched Pudding's face and left a bloody mark. Pudding covered her face in shock. Looking at the woman in front of her, she felt that she was both scary and unfamiliar. Pudding was also scared out of her wits, and the pastries in her hand fell to the ground. Her mother hit her sister and even scratched her sister's face. Sis, your face, blood. Pudding seemed to have lost the ability to speak. Huamin seemed to feel that she had gone too far. She calmed down and gently coaxed Pudding. Mommy didn't want it to be like this, Pudding. You'll know in the future that Mommy did it for your own good. Small animals aren't as clean as you think. They'll infect you with a lot of diseases. At this moment, Xianxia came downstairs. Pudding, come here, he said coldly. Huamin or Layla looked up and saw Xianxia's cold eyes. She became nervous. Chapter 4201. Daddy. Pudding turned around and ran upstairs, hugging Xianxia's leg. Honey, listen to me. I didn't do it on purpose. Before Huamin could finish, Xianxia picked up Pudding and went back to the study. Scared, Pudding dropped the pastries and followed him. The servants left, not daring to stay in the living room. In the study, Xianxia found a first aid kit and applied medicine on Pudding's wound. Pudding was so young that her face was swollen from the slap. Xianxia's heart ached. Daddy, I'm fine. It doesn't hurt. You can have a dog. Daddy will pick up the golden retriever tomorrow and buy it a kennel and dog food. What about Mommy? Don't worry about her. Pudding didn't dare to speak. After treating the kids' wounds, Xianxia instructed the two kids to take care of themselves. You two stay in the study. I'll go down and talk to her. Daddy, don't fight. Our family needs to be harmonious. Pudding held her daddy's hand and said, "Okay, Daddy knows." When Xianxia went downstairs, Huamin was still sitting on the sofa, looking at the news on her cell phone. She didn't seem to care about Pudding's wound. Seeing Xianxia come down, she put away her cell phone in a panic. Honey, how's Pudding? She's fine. I've treated her wound. Pudding is young and she's still a child. It's inevitable for her to throw a tantrum. But as her mother, how could you be so cruel? Honey, I really didn't do it on purpose. I was angry. My nails are long and I accidentally cut them. I've cut them. Huamin raised her finger. Indeed, her long nails were gone. She didn't want to arouse Xianxia's suspicion, so she continued to play the victim. She did not like those two brats, so this time, she took the opportunity to punish them. Pudding, in particular, seemed to be at odds with her recently. Even though she said she was sorry, Pudding didn't want to offend her. But in her heart, Layla felt very satisfied. You've never treated our daughter like this before? Xianxia looked at her and said word by word. Then you wouldn't have treated me so coldly in the past. Let's not talk about the past, Huamin argued. But the child is also your child. Xianxia deliberately said this, not wanting to let the other party know that he had seen through her. I know. I'm just trying to educate him. There's no point in raising a dog. But I agreed. You have to keep the dogs as compensation for your daughter. Also, from now on, you're not allowed to touch Pudding and Little Bean. Otherwise, I won't go easy on you. Xianxia was really angry, but he didn't hit her. Although he really wanted to, he felt that it wouldn't be good to fight at home. The maids must have thought that he was a domestic abuser who liked to beat his wife. Xianxia was so smart that he didn't want to be caught. And Layla thought that this matter was over just like that. She didn't take Xianxia's warning to heart. After Xianxia vented his anger, he drove out with the twins, saying that they were going to have supper. Layla didn't think much of it and played with her phone at home. However, there was a problem that she needed to pay attention to. What would she do if she raised a dog at home? After all, small animals were very repulsive to people like her. After taking the children out to eat, it was already 10 o'clock when they came back. Qin Chu sent the children back and went straight to his grandmother's room. Then he went out again to see Rick. Rick, I need you to do me a favor. What? Find someone with good driving skills. Tomorrow, drive and hit. Huamin, Qin Chu said very clearly. What? Rick thought that there was something wrong with his ears and that he had heard wrong. Chapter 4202. You heard me right. You want to hit Huamin? Rick repeated. Your wife. Why? Chu, are you out of your mind? Is she your wife? She doesn't need to be killed or disabled. Just make her suffer a little, Qin Chu said expressionlessly. But why? Even if you two quarrel, you don't have to do this. Rick thought that Qin Chu would never hurt his wife because he was a man who would die for Huamin at any time. But today, such a man was asking him to find someone to hit Huamin? It was unbelievable. Rick, about this? I can't explain it in detail right now. I'll find a chance to explain it to you in the future. Right now, I just need your help. Mian knows all my people, so I want you to help me. Also, you must find someone with good driving skills. Don't kill him. But there are many accidents in this kind of thing. If you fail, I think you should find another way. Don't worry. She won't die. I just want her to suffer a little. But Rick didn't dare to agree. He thought this was too strange. If Qin Chu regretted it in the future and Huamin was seriously injured, wouldn't he be in trouble? Looking at Rick's hesitation, Qin Chu looked into his eyes. Rick, do you trust me? Then please do me a favor, okay? Finally, Rick won over the hesitation in his heart and agreed. Then, Qin Chu told him what he needed to do. Finally, the two separated and went home. Huamin was used to not sharing a bed with Qin Chu. She began to change her target. Ever since Jingde 002 disappeared mysteriously, she felt that she couldn't stay in this place for too long. Since she couldn't fulfill her original wish, she would seduce Su Yu and make Su Yu and Qin Chu fall out. In short, she wanted to destroy Huamin's reputation. She wanted to make her family restless. Huamin lay in bed with the dim light on. She sent Su Yu a WeChat message. Huamin, are you asleep? Su Yu, no. Huamin, I can't sleep. Let's talk? Su Yu, sure. What's wrong with Dr. Hua? Insomnia? Huamin, yeah. I keep thinking about the days when I was kidnapped with you in Yunnan. Su Yu, ha. Are you scared of being kidnapped? Are you traumatized? Huamin, no. I was thinking that if we didn't come back at that time and lived a life of farming in a small mountain village, would you be willing to come back? Su Yu, Mian, did you drink? Su Yu always felt that Huamin's advances toward him was an illusion. It shouldn't have happened. So he suspected that Huamin was in a bad mood and drank. Huamin, I didn't drink. Su Yu, I'm very sober. Su Yu, but if we didn't come back, what would happen to Qin Chu? What would happen to the twins? Huamin, life is unhappy because you have worries. That's why I made a hypothesis. After coming back, I realized that a lot of things between Qin Chu and me have changed. Su Yu, I don't think so. When I had dinner with Qin Chu the other day, I felt that he was still the same as before. Huamin, that's for you. He treats me differently. I'm starting to regret it. Su Yu, what do you regret? Huamin, I regret that I didn't choose you back then. Su Yu, ha. Dr. Hua, stop fooling around. Don't make fun of a loser like me, okay? Huamin, I'm not fooling around. Su Yu, let me ask you, do you still have me in your heart? Chapter 4203. Su Yu didn't answer. He even suspected that Huamin's account had been hacked. Or did Qin Chu use Huamin's words to test him? Therefore, Su Yu didn't answer this question. On the other side, Huamin continued to ask Su Yu. Suddenly, she heard the sound of the door opening. She immediately stuffed her phone under her pillow and pretended to be asleep. As expected, Qin Chu came in. Mian, are you asleep? Yes, soon. She closed her eyes and was in a daze. Today, I met a client who sells imported special medicine. I asked for a bottle of stretch mark ointment from him. After the baby was gone, although you had surgery, you were pregnant for 9 months. There are still marks on your belly. It's very ugly, so I wanted to help you get rid of them. It's pretty good. Leave it here. I happen to be free today. Let me help you. Qin Chu sat down on the bed as he spoke. Huamin immediately panicked. Her belly was smooth and white without any patterns. This couldn't be imitated. She originally thought that if she could do intimate things with Qin Chu, she would wear a doo-doo or something so that he wouldn't find out. Then she would find a place to disguise her belly. However, when she saw that Qin Chu almost never slept in the same bed as her, she gave up on this idea. Now that Qin Chu suddenly came to her with the so-called stretch mark ointment, she was caught off guard. Honey, no need. It's too late, I'm so sleepy. Go to sleep. I'll help you. It won't disturb you. With that, Qin Chu reached out and was about to lift the blanket. Huamin reacted strongly and sat up from the bed. I said I don't need it. Why can't you understand me? Qin Chu, don't be so fickle, okay? Previously, you treated me coldly, and now you're enthusiastically applying ointment for me. Did you do something wrong to me in the company? Is that why you're acting so differently? She was smart enough to shift the topic back to Qin Chu. I just want to apply some ointment for you. Why do you have such a big reaction? Is there a scar on your stomach? Are you afraid that I will see it? No, I just don't like your flip-flopping attitude. I'll accept your ointment as a token of my gratitude. If there's nothing else, you can leave. Didn't you want me to stay? Qin Chu didn't get up, nor did he have any intention of leaving. Huamin or Layla looked at him in surprise. This man was really unpredictable. She thought that she knew him very well. But now, looking at his unfathomable expression, it was as if he had never understood him. I thought you didn't like to sleep in the same bed as me? Huamin stuttered. But you're right. We're husband and wife. We can't live separately forever. Do you want to take a shower together? Qin Chu asked her. Layla felt guilty again. I didn't prepare today. Give me some time. Hee, since when do we need time to do this kind of thing? Miam, you always say that I've changed, but why do you act like I don't know you anymore? I didn't. You're thinking too much. Okay, in that case, go to sleep. I won't disturb you. I'll put down the ointment for you. Remember to apply it. Huamin nodded. Seeing Qin Chu walk out, she heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Qin Chu didn't insist. Otherwise, she would have been exposed. It seemed that she had to find a place tomorrow to remove the stretch marks on her stomach. Then, she would sleep with Qin Chu and go back to report. A meaningful smile appeared on Qin Chu's face as he walked out of the room. Tomorrow, he would be able to avenge Pudding. This woman, she definitely wouldn't expect it. Chapter 4204. Layla would never have dreamed that someone would attack her. After all, she was now taking over Huamin's identity. Who was Huamin? She was a princess, a fairy surrounded by stars. Qin Chu doted on her, Suyu loved her, and a group of good friends protected her. But even so, there were still people who made a move on her. She had been going out frequently recently. In the morning, she planned to go to the hospital to see if there was any way to make stretch marks appear on her belly to fool Qin Chu. Therefore, on the way to the first hospital, there was a crossroad with many people and cars. It was a green light, and she was crossing the road normally. A sports car rushed out, heading straight for Huamin. It was so fast that she was dumbfounded. Actually, with Layla's ability, she could even dodge an explosion easily. This car was nothing. But the key was that this was a crossroad. There were many witnesses and cameras. If she really didn't follow the rules of science, she would be exposed. What if she couldn't explain her superpower? But she couldn't let herself die. Therefore, Layla could only react like a normal person. In the end, she was knocked to the ground by the sports car. Instantly, she felt a piercing pain all over her body. Then, all 120,110 people were mobilized. They sent her to the first hospital. When Qin Chu arrived, she had already been pushed out of the emergency room. Qin Chu was still very nervous in front of her. Doctor, is my wife all right? Don't worry, President Qin. Our deputy director is fine. She just suffered a little. She broke 3 ribs and needs to be hospitalized for a while. Okay, that's good. It's good that she's fine. Qin Chu then lowered his head and looked at Huamin. Why were you so careless? You scared me to death. I was very careful. I was crossing the road normally. It was that sports car that didn't have eyes and hit me. Hubby, you have to take revenge for me. Don't worry, leave it to me. Qin Chu comforted Huamin for a while before he was pushed into the ward. Qin Chu's lips curled into a smile. If you touch my daughter again, you won't be so lucky. Actually, the main reason she bumped into Layla this time was to avenge Pudding. Her small face that was scratched by her looked pitiful. On the other hand, Qin Chu wanted to see how capable Layla was and how she would react in such a crowded place. Qin Chu had watched the video of the incident many times. In the end, he concluded that in that instant, Huamin's dodging speed and reaction speed were many times faster than an ordinary person's. This was not an ability that could be achieved by humans. It seemed that this explained why she was able to dodge the explosion so easily. Fortunately, he purposely chose a crowded place this time so that she wouldn't dare to use her superpowers so recklessly. Qin Chu was sure that the sports car wouldn't be able to hurt her at all if it was at night, a place where there were few people around. Thinking that the enemy was so powerful and abnormal, Qin Chu became even more cautious. He had to face her every day and continue to deal with her. Walking out of the hospital, Qin Chu looked up at the starry sky. Me? You're waiting for me, right? You must be in a corner of the world, waiting for me to pick you up and bring you back. At the thought of Huamin, his wife, Qin Chu's eyes filled with tears. To him, the days without Huamin were worse than death. Most importantly, he couldn't let anyone know that the real Huamin was missing. This man had always been like this. He swallowed all his pain and endured all his pain. Chapter 4205. Huamin's hospitalization was a top priority. His friends all rushed to the hospital to visit him. Jiang Xiaowei, Zhu Lingling, Qin Ning, and Tang Chuan. Every day, the hospital was overcrowded. The strange thing was that Qin Chu almost never brought the twins to see Huamin. When others asked, he would say that he didn't want to tell the children that their mother was sick. He was afraid that the children would get angry. Actually, the reason was that he didn't want the children to have too much contact with this monster. Zhu Lingling brought flowers and fruits and chatted with Huamin inside. Gao Ran and Qin Chu were in the corridor. Is there any progress in the case? Qin Chu asked him. There's no clue at all. The children are missing. I feel like I'm really useless. It's not your fault, Qin Chu said. How can it not be my fault? I'm the leader of public security. I'm not worthy, Gao Ran blamed himself deeply. Gao Ran, I know that you'll be even more panicked if I say something, but I have to tell you that similar cases might happen in the future. What do you mean? Anyway, send more people to watch over them. It might be very soon. Chu, what do you know? Gao Ran and Qin Chu had known each other for many years, so they had a tacit understanding. Seeing Qin Chu being so direct, Gao Ran couldn't sit still. I can't tell you right now, nor can I explain. All of this is just my deduction. Do you know who the murderer is? I'm not sure yet. Tell me, I'll catch them and interrogate them. Gao Ran was extremely anxious. It's not the time yet. Damn, what do you mean? Qin Chu didn't say anything else. However, he had a vague feeling that after this injury, Layla would commit another crime soon. Qin Chu's guess was right. Moreover, it didn't happen a few days later, but that night, a young lady who came to the hospital to visit her sick grandmother mysteriously disappeared. It was the same situation as the child who had gone missing from the kindergarten. The hospital pulled out all the surveillance cameras, but they did not find any clues. The child was gone, and the parents were frantic. The whole hospital was in an uproar. As for Huamin, no, it should be Layla. At that moment, he was lying on the hospital bed, leisurely watching the news and listening to music. She was in a good mood after eating and drinking her fill. Logically speaking, since the hospital had a blood bank, they could just steal some blood bags and be done with it. But that wasn't Layla's style. She had to eat live, fresh food to taste good. It was just like how some people like to eat fish, but they didn't like to eat dead fish. They only liked fresh and freshly killed fish. The nurse who came to change her dressing gossiped as she changed her dressing. The hospital has been very strange recently. Everyone says that it's haunted. I'm so scared that I don't dare to work the night shift. I don't know what happened, but such a big child disappeared. No one saw her go out, but they searched the entire hospital and couldn't find her. It's really strange. Then do you believe in ghosts in the world? Huamin asked the nurse with a smile. Deputy Director, you really know how to joke. We study medicine, how can we believe in this? I'm scared, not scared of ghosts. I just feel that this matter has made people panic. Huamin smiled slightly and didn't say anything else. Deputy Director, do you smell anything? No, what smell? Huamin was expressionless. It seems like the smell of blood coming from somewhere. Did your wound open? The nurse's nose was very sensitive. She smelled that something was wrong and lifted the blanket to look at Huamin's ribs. Chapter 4206. Where did the bloody smell come from? The young nurse murmured to herself. Really? How come I don't smell it? Are you hallucinating? Huamin chuckled. No, my nose is the most sensitive. My mother said that my nose is like a dog's. Usually, when she cooks something delicious, I can smell it immediately and get up quickly. The young nurse had no doubt about her ability, but she couldn't find the source of the bloody smell. There are a lot of patients in our hospital and the bloody smell is everywhere. Maybe you brought it in when you passed by the operating room. Really? Maybe. The young nurse froze and thought Huamin's words made sense. After changing Huamin's dressing, she left. After she left, Huamin took out a transparent bag from under his pillow. Inside was a warm heart. At the Shen family mansion, Tian came back from Jing City during the winter vacation. Shen Mingxi was out of town, so Wei Ying went to pick her up. At the airport, Tian walked out of the door and saw Wei Ying. She ran up to her enthusiastically. Then she called sweetly, "Mommy." The people around them looked at them enviously, thinking they were mother and daughter. Wei Ying was a bit uncomfortable because Tian had always called her auntie and occasionally mommy. She was a bit embarrassed to call her mommy so suddenly. But she didn't doubt the child's sincerity at all. She immediately put a luxurious down jacket on Tian. It's cold here. It's not as cold as Jing City. Put it on. Wow. This brand is expensive. Mommy, did you buy it for me? Yeah. I knew you were coming back, so I prepared a few. Do you like them? I like them. Thank you, Mommy Wei. Tiantian's mouth was getting better and better, and her relationship with Wei Ying was getting better and better. Shen Mingxi began to think it was a good thing. After all, the child's mother was gone. It was a good thing for her to stay with Wei Ying. However, the more he thought about it, the more he felt that this child was too sophisticated. She was different from Pudding and Little Bean, who were precocious and sensible. Anyway, Shen Mingxi began to be wary of the child. But Wei Ying treated her sincerely and raised her as her own child. Mom, I might not be able to stay at home for too long this time. The school organized a trip, and the teacher is taking us to Australia. It's summer there right now, the whole class is going. Very good, then let's go too. But we have to pay 88,000 yuan for the trip. The food and accommodation are all high-end. Tian emphasized. No problem. I'll transfer the money to you later. Mom, there's one more thing. I accidentally dropped my phone at school, and I didn't dare to tell Dad. Can you buy me another phone? You can deduct it from my living expenses. This child. Why would I deduct it from your living expenses? It's just a phone. I'll buy it. Then, Wei Ying drove to the entrance of a luxury cell phone store. He spent more than 8,000 yuan to buy the most popular mobile phone for the child. Tian seemed very happy and kept trying to please Wei Ying. Mommy Wei, when I miss home at school, I'll look at photos of you and Dad. I even showed your photos to my classmates. They all said that you're very beautiful and that we look alike. Really? Wei Ying smiled. Mommy Wei Ying, in the future, when you have a brother, will you still like me? Tian Tian suddenly asked. Chapter 4207. Surprised by the question, Wei Ying froze for a second and then smiled. Then he smiled and said, "Of course I will too. I like both of them. Mom, I know you're so kind and will treat me well for the rest of my life. I'm so lucky to have met Mom Wei Ying." Tian Tian's words were beyond the sweet talk of a normal child. But Wei Ying took them as heartfelt words and was very happy. After picking up Tian Tian, Wei Ying busied herself with packing, changing her clothes, and combing her hair. Wei Ying and the housemaid were busy making dumplings in the kitchen. Tian Tian took out her new cell phone and found Wei Yunchu's WeChat ID in Wei Ying's hand. Then she added, but Wei Yunchu rejected her. Tian Tian had no choice but to write, "I'm done." Wei Yunchu replied coldly, "Which Tian Tian? Don't you know her? I'm Mom Wei Ying's daughter." She was smart enough to use Wei Ying's name since Wei Ying was Wei Yunchu's aunt. Wei Yunchu was eating pizza with Pudding, Little Bean, and Buyuan in a pizza shop. The parents came to visit Huamin. After the visit, Jiang Xiaowei drove the twins to have dinner with them. "My aunt's daughter?" Wei Yunchu murmured. I know. She's Hui Yanyan's daughter, right?" Little Bean gossiped. "I remember. Her name is Tian Tian," Buyuan said. Pudding wasn't interested and continued eating fried chicken. "She added me on WeChat," Wei Yunchu said and glanced at Pudding. "Ha, does she like you?" Little Bean snickered. "Don't talk nonsense. She can be considered my relative. After all, my aunt is raising her." Pudding still didn't say a word, then add her. "Why don't you see what she's doing?" Buyuan didn't care. Wei Yunchu thought for a moment and clicked accept to add Tian Tian. "Tian Tian, Yunchu, are you on vacation?" Wei Yunchu, "Yeah." "Tian Tian, let's go on vacation in Australia?" Wei Yunchu, question mark. "Tian Tian, our school organized a great trip without parents. It's only 80,000 yuan. Your family will pay for it." Wei Yunchu, not interested. "Tian Tian, then where are you interested in? I can go with you." Wei Yunchu, "Am I that close to you?" "Tian Tian, I've heard about you from Wei Ying's mom. Your family. I heard you're friends with Pudding and Little Bean. I'm their friend too." When Pudding and Little Bean were mentioned, Wei Yunchu glanced at the twins. "She said she's friends with the two of you? We used to be friends, but one time, she betrayed us and lured us into getting kidnapped. After that, we were no longer friends." Pudding remained silent, as if she didn't want to participate in this topic. Wei Yunchu didn't reply to Tian Tian either. However, Tian Tian suddenly sent a selfie over. Tian Tian's background was not bad. She actually looked a lot like Hui Yanyan. She was quite pretty. In addition, she was now living a life of luxury. Everything she ate and used was the best. She had the temperament of a rich young lady. Wei Yunchu glanced at him but didn't react. Tian Tian sent him another message. "Yunchu, do you think I'm fatter or thinner than before?" When Buyuan saw this, he saw Little Bean reading it aloud with a smirk on her face. Pudding finally reacted a little. She raised her head and glanced at Wei Yunchu. "Young Master Wei, you're very popular these days. Are you going to debut?" Wei Yunchu. Chapter 4208. "Ha, sis, you're so smart. You haven't spoken for 100 years, but when you do, the whole world is shocked." Hearing her sister's words, Little Bean burst into laughter. Galbuyan also watched the show with a smirk on his face. The adults were bewildered. They wondered what had happened to the children. "I can say that I'm innocent. I didn't do anything." Wei Yunchu looked innocent. Then Pudding stopped talking and went back to playing on her cell phone. After dinner, Pudding and Little Bean left with Qin Chu. Unwilling to give up, Wei Yunchu ran over and took out a lollipop. "Pudding. Are you still angry?" "Why should I be angry? Then I'll delete her." Before Pudding could speak, Wei Yunchu took out his cell phone and deleted Tian Tian in front of Pudding. Although Pudding didn't say anything, she felt a little satisfied. The other three kids didn't know, but Pudding knew. A long time ago, Hua Min and Qin Chu had talked about Hua Yanyan's orphan. Pudding remembered clearly that her parents didn't have a good impression of that child. The child had just lost her mother, but she could open her mouth and call someone else her mother. Her tolerance was unparalleled. To put it bluntly, she was scheming and cruel. He even changed his name to Shenmingxi's dad and Wei Ying's mom. This change in attitude wasn't something an ordinary child could do. From then on, Pudding didn't like Tian Tian. After Tian Tian went to study in Jing City, they hadn't contacted each other. God knew why she suddenly added Wei Yunchu on WeChat today, but Wei Yunchu deleted Tiantian's WeChat in front of Pudding. His attitude was clear. Here you are. Wei Yunchu handed her another lollipop, and Pudding didn't refuse it this time. After thanking him, she left the restaurant with her dad. I thought you didn't like candy? In the car, Little Bean had been drooling. So what if I am? If you don't eat it, it'll be a waste even if you take it back. Our house is so hot, the lollipop will melt. That would be a pity. I saw it when Wei Yunchu paid just now. This lollipop costs 128 yuan. Why did he say it was handmade? So. Pudding remained calm. So it's a waste if you don't eat it. Why don't you give it to me? Don't even think about it. Stay away from me. The feeling of being rejected was really uncomfortable. Before she could finish her words, she was rejected by her elder sister. Little Bean complained, Daddy, look at your eldest daughter. She's too domineering and selfish. She won't eat it herself and would rather throw it away than let me eat it. She can't bear to throw it away. Don't worry. Qin Chu looked at his two daughters in the rearview mirror and smiled. At this moment, Pudding's phone rang. She picked up the video call. Hello, handsome Sue. Wow, Pudding is so beautiful today. Did you go out? Yeah, I had dinner with Auntie Xiaowei and the others. Oh, good news. Did you see Yunchu? Su Yu's straightforward words made Pudding feel a bit embarrassed. Fortunately, Little Bean snatched the phone away. Stupid handsome Sue, why did you send it to her and not me? Aren't you two together every day? It doesn't make a difference who I send it to? Su Yu laughed. It's not the same. Whoever you send it to first means you like her more. I don't love you anymore. Little Bean pouted. Chapter 4209. Little girl, aren't you afraid of biting your tongue by saying that? How can you live up to your conscience? I've given you a lot of love before. I've never been picky. Handsome Sue, you're wrong. We're not together all the time. We're separated when we go to the washroom, Little Bean retorted. You win. Sue, you didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Handsome Sue, have you eaten? Little Bean tilted her head and asked with concern. I'm eating. I worked overtime at the company and had the company meal. Do you have chicken drumsticks? Little Bean was curious. Turkey drumsticks. Do you want some? Turkey tastes terrible. The two little girls chatted with Su Yu in the car. Is winter vacation coming soon? Su Yu asked them. Yeah. We have 3 days of classes and then the final exam. Winter vacation will start in about a week. I'll have someone book the tickets. Book the tickets? Little Bean was confused. Disneyland in Tokyo. Do you want to go? Su Yu smirked. Yes. The two girls said in unison. It seemed they had been thinking about it for a long time. I'll book the tickets for a week. We'll fly directly to Tokyo. Su Yu snapped his fingers. Little Bean was thrilled. She stood up excitedly. Can we go to Mount Fuji to see the snow? Can we go skiing in Hokkaido? Can we go shopping in Osaka? Can we go to Nara to see the cute deer? Wow. Handsome Sue, I love you so much. Little Bean confessed. I've never believed the words of a bootlicker. Pudding, do you love me? Su Yu looked at the quiet Pudding. I love you. Pudding smiled shyly. Qin Chu was jealous in front of her. What about Daddy? I love handsome Sue, but I love Daddy more. Little Bean quickly corrected herself. Pudding stood up, wrapped her arms around her father's neck, and kissed his handsome face. Damn, Qin Zhao Zhao, you're too ruthless. You killed me instantly. No, comrade old Qin, I want a bite too. You're so handsome. If I don't kiss you, I'll be at a disadvantage. Little Bean handed the phone to her sister and kissed her dad who was driving. She kissed Qin Chu until his face was covered in saliva. But even though he was a clean freak, he didn't even wipe it off. She just smiled happily. Now, the two children were obviously closer to their father. Perhaps it was because of the connection between mother and son. Although they did not know the truth, the two children were no longer close to Huamin. Especially after Pudding's cheek was scratched, every time Pudding saw her mother, it was as if she saw a demoness. After Huamin was admitted to the hospital, Qin Chu was relieved. He temporarily put her under house arrest in the hospital and couldn't go home to spend time with her children and parents. After Su Yu hung up the video call, he immediately ordered the people in the secretary's office. Book me 3 first-class tickets for a direct flight to Tokyo, the best hotel in Tokyo, the best room, and 3 Disneyland tickets. Yes, President Su. After that, Su Yu felt that it was necessary to tell Huamin about such an important matter. So, he sent a WeChat message to Huamin. During the day, Su Yu went to the hospital, but there were too many people, so he didn't say much. Later, he came back because he had something to do at the company. He looked at the time. It was only 7 a.m. Su Yu, Mian, have you slept? Huamin, no. Su Yu, how are you? Do your ribs still hurt? Huamin, they hurt. Su Yu, have you eaten? Huamin, no. No one brought me food. Su Yu, no way. Didn't Qin Chu bring you food? Huamin, no. Maybe he doesn't want to care about me and wants me to starve. Su Yu, don't talk nonsense. What do you want to eat? I'll buy it and bring it to you. Huamin, Su Yu, don't be so nice to me. I'm afraid I'll fall in love with you. Su Yu, ahem. Stop fooling around. Dr. Hua, my little heart can't take a scare. Huamin, come. Let's have dinner together. I want crystal shrimp dumplings and pumpkin porridge. Su Yu, do you want seafood? Big crab. Huamin, no. I hate crabs and shrimps. They stink. Su Yu, huh? Haven't you always loved seafood? Chapter 42:10. Huamin, my taste has changed. I don't like it anymore. Su Yu, huh? It changed so suddenly. I wasn't prepared for it at all. Su Yu didn't care when Huamin changed the details of her life. Therefore, when he found out that Huamin didn't like seafood, he was very surprised and wasn't prepared for it at all. Huamin, it's not a big deal. What are you prepared for? Are you bringing me food or not? If not, I'm not eating. Su Yu, yes. I'll be right there. Wait for me. After all, Su Yu hadn't lived with Huamin for a long time, so he didn't know the details of Huamin's life. Therefore, he wasn't as observant as Qin Chu. Hearing that Huamin didn't eat, Su Yu immediately went to bring her food. According to Huamin's request, he bought pumpkin porridge, shrimp dumplings, hot milk tea, and snacks. In short, Su Yu bought a bunch of food and drove his supercar there. However, he didn't know that Huamin wasn't interested in food at all. What she was interested in was fresh and warm blood. At the first hospital, before Su Yu, Jixin came first. After all, Bella and Yang Meirong were both in the hospital. Jixin heard that his sister was also in the hospital, so he naturally came to visit. Bella and their mother's matter couldn't be hidden. Jixin got a bowl of millet and mung bean porridge for his sister and then went into the room. Jixin, why are you here? Huamin pretended to be very affectionate. Brother-in-law didn't tell me. I heard from the nurses that my sister was also in the hospital. I was so worried. Jixin put down the porridge and sat by Huamin's bed. Sis, does it still hurt? Huamin shook her head. It doesn't hurt anymore. Don't worry. Our family has been so unlucky recently. I should ask you to read our fortune later. What's going on? Why is misfortune happening one after another? What's wrong? Huamin was curious. It wasn't just 1 or 2 bad things. After a few seconds of silence, Jixin told her the truth. First, it's my Bella was injured and she's still in a coma. Then, Dad disappeared. Mom had a heart attack and fainted. And now it's your turn. Will be my turn in a few days. Don't talk nonsense. After hearing Jixin's words, she didn't seem to care. After all, Jixin's family's was. Hin, Dad, oh no, Uncle Jing, why did he suddenly disappear? Chint, teet. After all, tease, when did Uncle Jing go missing? Did he see anyone before he disappeared? Huamin asked Jixin. No, brother-in-law even asked Big Brother Gao ran for help, and the Municipal Public Security Bureau is also involved, but there's still no news. Dad was acting weird when he came back this time. Now that he's gone, the person who suffered the biggest blow is actually Mom. I'm worried for her. It'll all pass. Don't think too much, Huamin comforted him. Jixin nodded. Sis, you haven't eaten yet, right? I bought you some millet porridge. I'll feed you. No, I don't like millet porridge. But, didn't you always tell us that it's best for patients to eat liquid food? The best liquid food is millet and mung beans. It's good for clearing heat and detoxifying. Jixin looked at his sister in confusion. Chapter 42:11. Huamin was about to say something when the door to the ward was pushed open. The two of them looked at the door and saw Su Yu walking in with a pile of delicious food. Brother Su Yu. Jixin quickly stood up and greeted him. Jixin is here too. Yeah, I'm here to see my sister. Just in time, I bought a lot of dinner. Let's eat together. Su Yu was quite happy and felt that it would be lively with more people around. Jixin had taken care of his mother and wife, so he hadn't eaten yet. Seeing Su Yu say this, he was about to agree, but Huamin interrupted him. Jixin won't join us. He still has to take care of my mother. Jixin immediately understood what his sister meant. Yeah, brother Su Yu, I still have to take care of my mother. You guys eat. Jixin licked his lips awkwardly. He didn't know why his sister would politely ask him to leave. He actually wanted to stay for dinner. Su Yu froze for a second. Then he handed Jixin a portion. I bought a lot. You can take one back. Okay, thank you, brother Su Yu. Jixin took the food and walked out of the ward. Su Yu was busy taking out the delicious food one by one. Huamin, or rather, Layla, looked at Su Yu from head to toe. In fact, Su Yu wasn't inferior to Qin Chu at all. In fact, he was more approachable than Qin Chu. Other than being slightly less good-looking, he was really perfect. Since Qin Chu was ignoring her for the time being, she was really going to start with Su Yu. Sleeping with Su Yu was one of the reasons. 2 was to sow discord between Su Yu and Qin Chu and break them up. Then, he would ruin Huamin's reputation and make her have an affair with Su Yu. This was the 3rd reason. However, Su Yu didn't know what she was thinking. He always thought that Huamin was just in a bad mood and had a small conflict with Qin Chu. The great Dr. Hua, I've bought so many. Which one do you want to eat? Pumpkin porridge. Huamin pointed at the pumpkin porridge. Su Yu carefully brought it over and opened the small table that came with Huamin's bed. Su Yu, my hand is a little numb. Can you feed me? Huamin spoke in a slightly coquettish tone. This was an expression and attitude that Huamin would never have in the past. Su Yu's heart melted as he listened. Although he also wanted to do it, he knew his limits, so he didn't want to do such intimate actions. I don't think that's a good idea. You should eat by yourself. I brought you a spoon. Su Yu, do you hate me? Huamin looked wronged. What are you talking about? When did I hate you? Stop it, Dr. Hua. Then why won't you feed me? This is too intimate. Mian, although I know this is nothing and we're just friends, if Qin Chu sees this, even if he doesn't misunderstand, he'll still feel uncomfortable. We have to consider Qin Chu's feelings. But I didn't do it on purpose. Do you think I'm using you to make Qin Chu angry? No, that's not what I meant. Su Yu, I'm really not faking it. My ribs hurt. I don't dare to move too much. Qin Chu doesn't care about me, so I thought you would. I didn't expect you to do the same. If that's the case, then I won't eat anymore. You can leave now. After speaking, Huamin turned her face to the side. She was angry. Su Yu could tell that she was really angry. Mian, don't be angry, okay? Su Yu didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to comfort people, especially Huan Min. Chapter 42:12. That's enough. Go. Seeing how angry Huan Min was, Su Yu had no choice but to pick up the spoon. Why don't I feed you instead? Don't you think it's too intimate and inconvenient? Huan Min glared at him coldly. That's not important. Don't starve yourself. Su Yu was very kind and knew how to weigh the pros and cons. Although he knew it wasn't appropriate, Huan Min was still a patient. Plus, not eating for a long time wasn't good for the body. Therefore, under pressure from Huan Min, Su Yu compromised. However, Su Yu was very smart. He sent a WeChat message to Qin Chu in advance and reported the situation. He said, Qin Chu, I'm at the hospital. I'm here to visit Mian and brought her dinner. Do you want to come with me? Qin Chu only replied with 2 words, I'm busy. Seeing that Qin Chu was busy, Su Yu didn't want to disturb him. Just like that, he fed Huan Mian little by little. Unexpectedly, this scene was seen by Qin Ning and Tang Chuan, who came to visit Huan Min. Qin Ning was the first to enter the room, so she saw everything clearly. She was a little unhappy. Lord Su is here too, she said. Oh, you two are back. Su Yu put down the spoon awkwardly. Tang Chuan walked in behind Qin Ning. Oh, Lord Su is here. We have a tacit understanding. Ha, I'm here to deliver dinner. Su Yu scratched his head and laughed. Qin Ning glanced at Huan Min unhappily. Sis-in-law, where's my brother? Huan Min coughed lightly. Your brother didn't come. No way. He loves his wife so much. How could he? Qin Ning purposely sounded sarcastic. Everyone, don't just stand there. Let's eat together. Tang Chuan was very friendly. He directly took out all the things Su Yu had bought and prepared to have a good time as if the 4 of them were having a meal together. However, Huan Min was suddenly not in the mood. I don't want to eat anymore. I don't have an appetite. You guys can go now, I want to sleep. Huan Min said and turned his face away. This made Tang Chuan feel awkward. Then, the 3 of them walked out of the hospital. Lord Su, although there are some things that I shouldn't say, and you might be unhappy if I say them, but I'm a member of the Qin family. I have to think for my brother. We all know that you like my sister-in-law, but she's my brother's wife. Can't you avoid arousing suspicion? Qin Ning's pent-up anger exploded at Su Yu. Su Yu didn't say anything. Tang Chuan was a little embarrassed and pulled on Qin Ning's sleeve. Ahem. Ning, what are you talking about? Lord Su isn't that kind of person. Shut up. I know you're Lord Su's buddy, so of course you'll speak for him. I'm telling the truth. You know what I saw when I walked in, Lord Su? I won't tell my brother about this, but please be careful. Don't do it again. No matter how good a friend is, there's no need to be so close. You're right. I'll be careful. Su Yu wasn't upset by Qin Ning's scolding. Instead, he thought she was right and there was nothing wrong with it. Su Yu was actually in a difficult position. He didn't want to do this in the first place, but Huan Min forced him to do it. He didn't want to see Huan Min starve, so he sent a WeChat message to Qin Chu. However, he didn't expect that Qin Ning and Tang Chuan would come in and see it. It was as if they caught him in the act, and Su Yu felt very embarrassed. Lord Su, let's go and have a drink together? Tang Chuan quickly tried to smooth things over. I'm not going. I still have things to do. You two go do what you need to do. Let's talk later. Su Yu then got into his sports car and left the hospital. Tang Chuan looked at Qin Ning. Baby, what you said to Lord Su just now, wasn't it a little too harsh? Chapter 42:13. Qin Ning's face darkened. Hard? I think I've already given Su Yu enough face because of you. If it was before, I would have slapped him on the face. Do you believe me? Seeing Qin Ning's reaction, Tang Chuan said weakly, Baby, what did you see? Su Yu is feeding my sister-in-law spoonful by spoonful. Tang Chuan, really? Tang Chuan couldn't believe it. My whole family will die if I lie to you. Perhaps it was because Qin Ning was starting to get angry, so her words were especially harsh. Tang Chuan quickly covered her mouth. What are you doing? Your whole family doesn't include me. Ha, idiot. I'm so angry that I'm confused. Tell me, what's going on? What are you doing behind my brother's back? The more Qin Ning thought about it, the more uncomfortable she felt. Yeah, now that you mention it, it's a bit. Lord Su has been acting weird recently. Ever since they came back from Yunnan, they've been acting weird. When I have time, I'll have a drink with Lord Su and we'll talk about what happened today. Ning Ning, don't tell my brother-in-law yet. Isn't that obvious? Can I tell him? If I tell him, won't my brother be heartbroken? Qin Ning glared at Tang Chuan. Yes. With your brother-in-law's personality, he doesn't talk much. If you tell him, he'll only feel aggrieved. But, as far as I know, whether it's Lord Su or our sister-in-law, they're not dirty people. How could they do such a thing? Tang Chuan still found it unbelievable. Then how can I be seeing things? When our sister-in-law came back this time, the whole family gave in to her because she didn't have a child. But she doesn't seem to know the difficulties of the whole family. Instead, she's getting worse. I heard from Little Bean that she even injected pudding that day. When she's discharged from the hospital, I'll have a good talk with her. What's wrong with her? Did someone cast a spell on her? Qin Ning's personality had always been fierce and she would never swallow her pride. Therefore, today's incident had planted a seed of uncertainty in her heart. The dinner was ruined by Qin Ning and Tang Chuan, ruining the atmosphere. Huamin was furious. She then sent a WeChat message to Suyu. What are you doing? After a long time, Suyu did not reply. Then she made another call. After a long while, Suyu finally picked up. Why didn't you reply to my WeChat message? Huamin was rather displeased. I'm in the sports car. I just got off, so I didn't hear you. What's wrong? Mian? Suyu's expression was still pleasant. What did Qin Ning say to you? Ah no. That's impossible. With that girl's personality, she definitely won't stay put. I really didn't. Don't think too much. Have a good rest. If you're hungry, ask the nurse to heat up some delicious food for you. Suyu, are you taking Pudding and Little Bean to Tokyo? Suddenly he remembered this. Yeah. Didn't I promise them a long time ago? I can't go back on my word. Suyu smiled. I want to go with you. Suyu was dumbfounded again. Take me with you. I want to go to Tokyo too, Huamin stated forcefully. But, Suyu was confused. It was fine if he took the kids with him, but if he took Huamin with him? Then he and Huamin's kids would be a family of 4. Where would Qin Chu fit in? Mian, you can't do that. Mr. Qin will go crazy if he finds out. Suyu wanted to refuse in a joking manner. Qin Chu won't care. Besides, with the kids around, what can happen between us? Huamin asked back. Chapter 42:14. Hearing Huamin's words, Suyu was in a difficult position. Mian, although you're right, it's really not good to do this. Didn't you see Ning Ning's face turn green just now? I don't care what others think. I just want to ask you, Suyu, will you take me with you? Mian, are you really not joking with me? Do I look like I'm joking? Suyu, I just want to go to Tokyo. Mian, it's really inconvenient. Although Suyu liked the feeling of being alone with Huamin, he knew that it wasn't right. He would always have Qin Chu between them, and he would never build his happiness on Qin Chu's pain. It's fine if it's inconvenient. Huamian didn't seem happy. She just said, forget it, and didn't say anything else. Don't be angry. Why don't I talk to Qin Chu and ask him to come with us? Although he felt that it would be strange for a bachelor like him to go out with a family of 4. However, if Qin Chu went, Huamin would be more convincing. Unfortunately, Huamin didn't reply. Suyu knew that Huamin was probably angry. Huamian was bored in the hospital room. In fact, her body had recovered a long time ago. That little injury was nothing to her. However, in order to pretend to be weak, she pretended to continue staying in the hospital. The most important thing was that she could attack the people in the hospital from time to time. She also didn't know how to restrain herself. Losing a child in the hospital made everyone panic. Therefore, many adults didn't dare to bring children to the hospital. The children in the pediatrics department were also guarded by their parents. However, this didn't affect Layla's actions. She wasn't Huamin, so she didn't care about Yang Meirong and Bella. She just wanted to fill her stomach. After another round of capture, she licked her blood-stained lips in satisfaction and returned to her room. She didn't expect that a guest would arrive right after she walked in. "Sister Mian, you can walk now?" Surprised, she knocked on the door and pushed it open. Then she saw Huamin walking freely on the floor. But didn't everyone say that she was in a serious car accident with several broken ribs? She thought her eyes were playing tricks on her. "You've come?" Huamin smiled slightly, but it wasn't a warm smile. Instead, it seemed a little distant. She didn't know if it was her illusion, but she had a feeling that Sister Mian didn't like her and even seemed to reject her. "I've wanted to visit you for a long time, but there have been a lot of people these days. I was afraid to disturb your rest, so I didn't come." She placed the lilies and fruits she bought for Huamin on the table. "Oh, thanks for coming to see me." Huamin was absent-minded. He didn't look at her but looked down at his cell phone. Han Yueyao was embarrassed. "Sister Mian, you can walk on your own?" She remembered how fast Huamin walked. "Yeah, I'm recovering well. Except for the pain in my ribs, I can walk on my own," Huamin explained. "That's good. I'm relieved to see you're well. Did President Su come?" "You mean Suyu?" "Yes. Yes, he came to bring me dinner in the evening. He must be worried sick." Han Yueyao knew how important Huamin was to Suyu. "How was it? Did you confess to Suyu?" Seeing the girl's fangirl look, Huamin, or Layla, knew she liked Suyu. Chapter 42:15. Hearing Huamin's blunt question, Han Yueyao blushed slightly. "I did, but President Su's attitude." Lowering her head, Han Yueyao stuttered and explained shyly. Huamin said, "He rejected you, didn't he?" "He didn't explicitly reject me." Han Yueyao didn't think it was a direct rejection. Huamin smiled. For some reason, Han Yueyao thought there was a hint of sarcasm in his smile. He didn't want to hurt your self-esteem, so he didn't make it too clear. Han Yueyao pursed her lips and didn't speak, but she felt bad. Suyu has someone in his heart. Yao should focus on someone else. Don't waste time and hurt yourself. Huamin's meaning was obvious. He wanted Han Yueyao to stop liking Suyu. She was afraid it wouldn't work out. But, in the past, Huamin knew she liked Suyu, but he still encouraged her. Why did his attitude change so much? "Sister Mian, I haven't liked a man in all these years. Suyu is the first person I've liked in my life. I don't want to give up so easily. But he doesn't like you." Huamin's words were blunt and hurtful. "He likes you, but you don't like him, right? But he still likes you." Unconvinced, Han Yueyao began to use this relationship as an analogy. Huamin was obviously unhappy. "I'm different from you. We've known each other for years. Suyu and I have gone through life and death situations together. You're his superior and subordinate. And you're obviously not a match for him. But Auntie Su said she doesn't care if we're of equal social status." Han Yueyao explained. "Auntie Su is in a hurry to find a wife for Suyu. As long as it's a girl, it'll be fine. Mom is just impatient. Don't take it seriously. Anyway, Yao, you're famous now. Just focus on being a star. Don't dream about getting something that doesn't belong to you. Look at what happened to Jian Tong, Nieling Xian, and Zhao Qingya. You don't want to be the next one, do you?" Huamin's eyes were a little gloomy. Han Yueyao felt chills all over her body. "Sister Mian, Yao, I'm a little tired. You go back first. If there's nothing, don't come over. I'm going to be discharged soon." It was obvious that they had ordered him to leave. "Okay, I'll go now. Sister Mian, have a good rest." "Yes." She left with a heavy heart. Huamin sneered from the hospital bed. "Bitch who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. An idiot wants to chase after Suyu. Isn't it all because of money and power? The Lord is right. The exaggerated men and women in this world, the so-called love and affection, are just each taking what they need. It's disgusting." In the Shen family's house. Shen Mingxi hadn't come back yet. Wei Ying sat on the sofa with Tian and watched a variety show. Tian Tian picked up a sugar orange, peeled the skin, and brought it to Wei Ying's mouth. Mommy Wei Ying, have one. It's very sweet. Okay. Thank you, baby. Wei Ying really liked this kid after 2 days of being with her. After she came back from school in the capital, she was obviously more sensible and sweet-tongued than before. She kept calling her Mommy Wei Ying. As the saying went, you don't hit a smiling person. Since she tried so hard to please Wei Ying had no reason not to like her. Mommy Wei Ying, when will Dad come back? I miss him. Chapter 42:16. Wei Ying glanced down at her watch. He should be back soon. I sent him a WeChat message and he said he's off the highway and will be back in less than 20 minutes. That's great. Tian Tian smiled and rolled her eyes. Mom Wei Ying, is Yunchu good friends with Auntie Huamin's 2 sisters? Wei Ying nodded. Yeah. They're childhood sweethearts and play together almost every week. They're very close. Yunchu likes pudding very much. Then, does pudding like Yunchu? She likes him. They're good friends anyway. Hee hee. I'm so happy for Yunchu. I added him on WeChat today since he's Uncle Wei Liao's son. But for some reason he deleted me. Tian Tian looked aggrieved. He doesn't know it's you, right? He knows. I told him. But maybe he doesn't like me. Tian Tian looked aggrieved. How could that be? That kid and I have the best relationship. He won't dislike my child. It's okay. Mom Wei Ying, I didn't think too much about it. I just thought I'd find someone to hang out with after the holidays. Yunchu is my relative and I want to be close to him. It doesn't matter if he doesn't like me. The more Tian Tian tried to sound innocent, the more uncomfortable Wei Ying felt. She felt that the child had been wronged. She picked up her cell phone and video called her nephew, Wei Yunchu. Wei Yunchu, Auntie, what's up? Wei Ying, what are you talking about? Can I video call you? Wei Yunchu, of course not. Wei Ying, big nephew, what are you doing? Wei Yunchu, I just finished dinner. I'm watching a football game. Wei Ying, you're like an adult today. Can you understand football games? Wei Yunchu, Auntie, you video called me for something, right? Wei Ying, come on, nephew. Let me introduce you to my Tian Tian. Wei Ying pulled Tian Tian before the cell phone camera. Tian Tian was quite pretty. In the evening, she wore sky blue loungewear and had long hair. She was quite cute among the little girls. Wei Yunchu, however, looked wooden. Hi, Yunchu, Tian Tian greeted her shyly. Wei Ying, Yunchu, this is Auntie's daughter. Who's older? I remember you're a month older than Tian Tian, so you can call her Tian Tian. Wei Yunchu, Auntie, when did you have such a big child? When did you give birth? Why didn't I know? Wei Ying was embarrassed by Wei Yunchu's words. Wei Ying, don't talk nonsense. She's not my biological daughter, but she's your uncle's daughter. Wei Yunchu, really? Is she uncle's daughter? I don't remember uncle having a child with another woman. Is she an illegitimate daughter? Wei Ying, Tian Tian's face turned ugly in an instant. Wei Ying, no, don't make wild guesses. I'll explain when I have time. Anyway, get along with your sister. She usually goes to school in the capital and doesn't have many friends here. Wei Yunchu, Auntie, it's time for me to revise my English. Talk to you later. Before Wei Ying could reply, Wei Yunchu hung up the phone. Wei Ying, hey, Tianan, Mom Wei Ying, it's okay. I heard Yunchu is cold and has few friends. I'll get along with him slowly. Touched, Wei Ying rubbed Tian Tian's head. Good girl. I know you're a good girl. At this moment, they heard the door open. Chapter 42:17. Shen Mingxi finally came back from his business trip. Tian Tian ran over and hugged Shen Mingxi's thigh like she used to do when she was little. Dad. Tian Tian didn't know when she started calling Shen Mingxi Dad instead of Uncle Shen. Shen Mingxi rubbed her head. You seem to have grown taller. Dad, you have to buy me a lot of new clothes. I can't wear my old ones anymore. Tian Tian took the opportunity to act cute. Yes. But I have all my money with your mom. You have to ask her for everything. Shen Mingxi smiled and looked at Wei Ying, who was not far away, his eyes full of love. After remarrying her, he wanted to show his sincerity and make the Wei family believe him. Shen Mingxi had transferred all his assets to Wei Ying's name. Even his company was Wei Ying's major shareholder. No one in the Shen family objected. The Wei family thought it was a win-win situation. Shen Mingxi only took his credit card with him when he went out. His money was indeed with Wei Ying. Mom, Wei Ying has bought me a lot of good things. I can't let her spend more money. Really? What did you buy? Shen Mingxi took off his jacket and walked into the room. Tian tried her best to please Shen Mingxi and Wei Ying. Outsiders who didn't know would think that it was a happy family. Tian had never mentioned anything about her mother, Hui Yanyan. She had never asked about her mother. She threw away everything about Hui Yanyan in the house, not even a photo. 10 p.m., Tian went back to her room to rest while the couple went to the master bedroom. Shen Mingxi had been on a business trip for a few days and hadn't seen Wei Ying for a long time. The moment he entered the room, he couldn't wait to hug Wei Ying from behind. What are you doing? Doing something lovey-dovey? Young Master Shen, who was usually taciturn, could be so flirtatious. After a round of lovemaking, Ying lay in Shen Mingxi's arms happily. Ying, don't spoil Tian too much. You can't buy her whatever she wants. I saw you spend a lot of money these days. It's rare for a child to like it. No matter how much I like her, she's just a child. Don't raise her too materialistic. Although we can afford to raise her, I don't want her to grow up to be a materialistic woman who flaunts her wealth. I don't think so. I think Tian is quite sensible. Wei Ying thought Shen Mingxi was exaggerating. Shen Mingxi used to worry that Wei Ying wouldn't accept his kindness to Tian. But now, it seemed that Wei Ying treated the kids better, which made Shen Mingxi worry. It was the complete opposite. Just keep an eye on her. Don't educate her into... Shen Mingxi was about to say that Wei Ying shouldn't educate her to be like Hui Yanyan, but he didn't want to say Hui Yanyan in front of Wei Ying, so he didn't say it. Then he turned around and hugged Wei Ying tightly in his arms. 11:30 at night, after seeing the twins fall asleep, Qin Chu went to the study. Pudding and Little Bean didn't fall asleep. It seemed that they were pretending to be asleep to deceive their daddy. Elder sister. You didn't fall asleep either? Yeah, Pudding murmured. What are you thinking about? What about you? Pudding tilted her head and looked at Little Bean in the dark. Our family has been strange lately. Mommy used to put us to sleep while Daddy was busy with work. Now Daddy is busy with work and has to put us to sleep. Yeah. Pudding sighed slightly. Mommy is in the hospital, but Daddy isn't with her. Yeah. Sis, will they divorce? I'm so scared, Little Bean said in a small voice. Chapter 42:18. I don't think so. Daddy said he wouldn't divorce Mommy. Pudding thought about her daddy's feelings for her mommy. But sis, don't lie to yourself. You and I can see that Daddy and Mommy are in serious trouble. Their relationship is cold. It's even worse than Mommy and Handsome Sue. I don't know what happened. It's scary. I feel like a storm is coming. It's not that serious. Don't think too much. Pudding comforted her sister, but she wasn't sure either. Sis, I want to hold your hand. This might be a sign of Pudding's insecurity. Pudding turned over and reached out her chubby little hand. In the dark, she held her sister's hand tightly. Sis, to be honest, if Daddy and Mommy divorced, who would you choose to be with? Pudding's heart sank. She had never thought about this question because she never thought that Daddy and Mommy would divorce. It probably won't come to that. Don't worry, it won't. I'm just making an example. Tell me, I want to know the answer, Pudding asked relentlessly. Based on the current situation, I might choose Daddy. Pudding couldn't describe how she felt, but she really couldn't get close to her mommy now. Especially after she slapped her that day and scratched her face with her nails. That wasn't serious. What was serious was that Huamin didn't even ask if the child was still in pain. Would it leave a scar? These actions made Pudding's heart sink. What about you, Pudding? Who would you choose? Pudding seemed to be starting to feel uneasy and asked her sister the same question. I'll choose whoever sis chooses. I don't want to be like those TV shows where two kids, one for each father and one for each mother, are separated from each other. When they meet again, it'll be years later. I love you very much and don't want to be separated from you. Although we have arguments and even business conflicts, and I'm sometimes jealous of you for having good things, these are all small things in life. No matter what, I love you deeply and don't want to be separated from you. Then, Pudding held Pudding's hand tightly. Pudding felt sorry for her sister and touched her face. Pudding, don't be afraid. I promise you that I'll never be separated from you, no matter what happens. Yes. This was the first time the two sisters had such a sad conversation. If Qin Chu, as their father, heard this, he would definitely be distressed and burst into tears. At this very moment, he was in his study. Talking to Gao Ran on the phone. When did it happen? Just an hour ago. Such a big living person is gone just like that? Qin Chu frowned. Previously, it was children who went missing. Now it's adults. Everyone in the first hospital is in a state of panic. Gao Ran felt like his head was about to explode. He kept disappearing without a corpse, which made him very angry. Even the police dogs can't smell it. Qin Chu believed that those missing people must have been tortured to death, just like Jingda had done before. But since there was a corpse, the police dog's keen sense of smell would not leave empty-handed. I brought a police dog but found nothing. Then something must have covered up the smell and affected the police dog's judgment. Chu, this is getting weirder and weirder. I have a feeling that there's a psychopathic murderer in our city. No, in the first hospital. It might even be a monster like an ogre or a vampire. Why don't you think of a way to transfer Bella, your mother-in-law, and Huamin to South Side? It's too dangerous there. After Gao Ran said this, Qin Chu was speechless for a long time. How could he tell him that Huamin was the monster? Chapter 42:19. On the other side of the earth. In the underwater palace. There was no watch, calendar, or concept of time. Huamin couldn't remember how long he had been under house arrest here. He had only seen Linya a few times. However, he was much more familiar with Messiah. The more he interacted with her, the more he felt that Messiah was a good servant. At least, she didn't have poker faces like the others, who were expressionless like robots. Ever since he found out that Lu Yen and he weren't born from the same father and mother, Huamin had been shocked for a long time. He wasn't shocked by the closeness between him and Lu Yen, but by the fact that Lu Yen was the child of Linya's clone. Strictly speaking, she was the child of a human and a clone. His father probably didn't even know that Linya was a clone, right? But how did Linya manage to deceive his highly intelligent father? Huamin had many questions. At the same time, he was more worried that Layla would do whatever she wanted in her home and hurt her family. Miss Mion, the master invites you to dinner. Messiah walked in and brought Huamin a tasseled cloak. Everything here was extremely beautiful. The cloak looked as if it was made of golden thread, and it was shining brightly. It was exceptionally comfortable and smooth when draped over her body. Huamin didn't say anything and obediently followed behind Messiah towards Linya's room. When she entered, she froze for a moment, because she saw that Linya wasn't wearing a queen's outfit or a crystal mask. She no longer looked like a high and mighty queen. At this moment, she was only wearing a coffee-colored dress and black high heels. Her hair was curled into waves, and she was as elegant, graceful, and intellectual as everyone's mother. At this moment, she was sitting at the dining table, making dumplings. There was flour and dumpling fillings on the table. Mian, come in. Linya smiled at Huamin. Huamin walked over warily, looked at the things on the table, and then looked at Linya. What are you doing? I heard from Messiah that your appetite hasn't been very good recently. You said that you wanted to eat dumplings, right? Some of them have never seen dumplings in their lives, so I won't make things difficult for them. I'll make it for you. Your father also likes to eat dumplings with celery and pork fillings. When we were in China, we lived in Jiangnan for a period of time. During that time, we ate dumplings almost every day. Later we got tired of them and stopped. Linya smiled as she recalled the past. Just like an ordinary mother, there was no sense of distance between them. Huamin indeed felt that Linya was more approachable than before. Huamin didn't say anything. He sat down opposite Linya with his big belly. Then, without batting an eyelid, he wrapped it up as well. Or rather, he helped. You're pregnant, so you need to eat something good. The baby will be healthy. Linya smiled. When are you going to let me go? Huamin asked her. Isn't it good to be here? Isn't it good to be with Mom? Why do you have to leave? I miss my home, my husband, and my daughter. They have someone to take care of them. You don't have to worry. Are you talking about that perverted Layla? Layla didn't hurt them. She's just shamelessly replacing me, isn't she? Madam Linya, have you been playing this kind of cloning game all these years? Huamin's words made Linya's expression freeze, and her smile gradually disappeared. She put down a dumpling in her hand and picked up a wet towel to wipe her hands. Mian, do you know who you're talking to? Chapter 42:20. Of course I know. The person in front of me is the real person, not a clone. Huamin sneered. It was also a bit of sarcasm. Miss Mian. Messiah couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to stop Huamin from angering Linya. However, Linya scolded her. Messiah, go out first. I have something to say to her alone. Yes, master. After Messiah left, Linya had no intention of continuing to make dumplings. She stood up. Tell me, Linya, what do you want? All these years, you've been alive. You've been a queen here, but you refuse to look for Dad or me. Now that you suddenly think of us, what do you want? What's your purpose? Mian, let's not talk about this today. Mommy wants to ask you a question. Answer seriously. Huamin remained silent. Mian, how have you been all these years? Very good, very happy. Really? What if every time someone close to you dies? What do you mean? Sensing that something was wrong with Linya's words, Huamin widened his eyes and questioned. Let me put it simply. The last time you had an explosion at a gas station, so many people died. One of them was your friend, Wuxia. Is that right? After Linya finished speaking, she glanced at Huamin expressionlessly. Huamin didn't say anything. As far as I know, that kid has been good to you all these years. He detonated a bomb for you and died. Are you sad? At the mention of this, Huamin's heart ached. Even if Wuxia was a bad guy and had done so many bad things, he had never hurt Huamin. He even used Jack's personality to deceive Layla and saved her at the last moment. She suddenly remembered that they were hiding in a small mountain village on that quiet night. Wuxia acted coquettishly with her, acted cute with her, bickered with Suyu, and everything. It felt like it happened yesterday, but Huamin knew. Wuxia was already dead. He had detonated the bomb at such a close distance. There was no way he could have survived. She didn't know why Linya mentioned Wuxia at this time. But she was really sad. Not talking? You're sad, aren't you? Linya looked at the silent Huamin. Yes, it's very sad, but so what? What are you trying to say? Huamin raised his hand, wiped away the tears that were about to fall, and looked at Linya. Mian, do you want to revive him? Resurrection? Are you crazy? He's already dead. How can he be resurrected? Do you really think you're a god? Huamin sounded like she was going crazy. She felt that what Linya had told her could not be realized. Linya simply smiled at Huamin's loss of control. Linya turned around and waved her hand. A clear image appeared on the screen. In the image, a man lay in a crystal coffin. As the camera zoomed in, the man's face grew larger and larger. Finally, it was displayed clearly in front of them. No, impossible, this is absolutely impossible. He was blown to pieces. Huamin saw the face in the crystal coffin. It was Wuxia's face. It was exactly the same. She couldn't accept it. That was already an incomplete corpse. How could he lie in the coffin unscathed? Suddenly, an idea flashed through Huamin's mind as she thought of an important clue. She looked at Linya in horror. Another clone. Chapter 42:21. In C City. Huamin was used to Qin Chu's indifference, so she had been causing trouble for Su Yu recently. People kept disappearing in the hospital, making everyone panic. Huamin didn't stay put. Instead, she took a stroll around the hospital bed. When she saw someone she knew, she was called the vice director and acted all high and mighty. When she returned to her room in the afternoon, she saw Qin Chu sitting on the edge of her bed. "Honey, when did you get here?" She had to put on an act to the fullest. She still sweetly called him hubby. "Where did you go?" "Walked around to get some fresh air. The doctor said you're almost healed?" "Yeah." Huamin smiled. "You're healing really fast. It hasn't been that long." Qin Chu stared into her eyes and said meaningfully, "Huh, isn't that normal? I studied medicine, so I have some common sense. Of course, I know how to take care of myself. I'm a little better than normal people. It's nothing." She gave a lousy excuse to fool Qin Chu, but Qin Chu wasn't in a hurry to expose her. "I heard that there have been a lot of incidents in the hospital recently." "Really? What happened? How come I don't know about it?" Huamin pretended not to know. "A lot of people have gone missing. I don't know if they were killed or kidnapped." Huamin pretended not to believe him. "Really? That's so scary. It's so scary. Is there a perverted killer lying in ambush here? Shouldn't you know about this better than anyone else?" Qin Chu looked at her and said word by word. After he finished speaking, Huamin's expression became unnatural. She didn't understand what Qin Chu meant. How much did Qin Chu know? Therefore, she could only continue to pretend not to know. Honey, are you confused? I'm not a cop. How would I know about this?" Huamin retorted. Qin Chu slowly got up and walked towards Huamin. She didn't move, but she was very alert. She was afraid that Qin Chu would suddenly attack, but she believed that even if it was a sneak attack, Qin Chu would not be her opponent. However, Qin Chu didn't do that. He just switched to a caring look. "The nurses here are the most gossipy. They must have told you these things when they were changing your bandages. I'm afraid you'll be even more scared if they exaggerate things." "I won't. I'm very brave. You know that. Well, if it's convenient for you to walk, follow me to the south side." "Why are you going to south side?" Huamin was surprised. "Cici is having a cesarean section this afternoon. She wants you to help her deliver the baby. After all, you're an excellent gynecologist." Layla did not know how to perform surgeries, especially cesarean sections. She had never come into contact with them before. Huamin had a lot of experience. Therefore, she was at a loss. "What's wrong? You don't want to?" "No. It's just that my body is in such a state. I'm afraid I'll make a mistake. After all, I'm not in good shape recently." "You know that." Huamin continued to find excuses. "But you've done so many surgeries like this. You're very experienced. You can even use 20% of your skills. Cici trusts you so much that Rick called me and I agreed to do it." Obviously, Qin Chu wanted her to go. "There are many excellent gynecologists at the south side. It's really not convenient for me right now." It seemed that Huamin didn't want to go and continued to find excuses for herself. Chapter 42:22. In fact, if she forced herself to do the operation, she could complete the operation with all the memories she had of Huamin. However, it was too risky. If there were too many loopholes and those people saw through it, wouldn't the loss outweigh the gain? She hadn't achieved her goal yet. If she was seen through too early and screwed up, she was afraid that her master would be unhappy. Therefore, after considering many factors, Huamin, or rather Layla, she refused. She was terrified. Indeed, she didn't know how to do the operation. The medical genius was Huamin, not her. Hearing her words, Qin Chu finally nodded. "Okay then. I won't make it difficult for you. I'll explain it to Rick later." "Honey, talk to Rick. It's not that I don't want to help Cici. I got it." After saying these 4 words, Qin Chu turned and left without saying goodbye. It seemed that he was angry. After Qin Chu left, Huamin became even angrier. He picked up the pillow on the bed and threw it to the ground. "Damn it. Why do I have to listen to your attitude? I thought Huamin was living a happy life. How is this happiness? He's a cold and expressionless man. I don't know why that idiot chose to marry such a man. He's not as gentle as Suyu. Layla's temper rose and she was very dissatisfied with Qin Chu. Of course, she didn't know that Qin Chu didn't treat Huamin like this. He treated her like this because he saw through her. However, she didn't realize it yet. After all, Qin Chu had always been very shrewd and had always pretended to be very beautiful. Qin Chu had already paid attention to the case at the first hospital. It seemed that from now on, she had to choose a place far away to commit crimes. Otherwise, she might be targeted. Layla revealed a bloodthirsty smile. It was a creepy smile. Southside Obstetrics and Gynecology Department. CC's home was close to Southside. Moreover, the first hospital hadn't been very peaceful recently. There were always scary news about missing children. Therefore, her parents all recommended their daughter to give birth at Southside. Rick didn't have any opinions. It was all up to Cece. Cece's parents were quite superstitious. They even asked someone to check the time and picked an excellent surgeon to perform the operation on Cece. When Qin Chu drove over, Cece's family was waiting outside. Nie Lingxian, whom he hadn't seen for a long time, was also back. After Qin Chu arrived, he nodded and greeted everyone. Then he and Rick went to the other side of the corridor. Are you nervous, brother? Qin Chu asked Rick. Yeah, I'm nervous. How do you feel? It's hard to describe. It's like you're about to do a big deal and you're afraid of being investigated by the police, Rick said. Qin Chu was speechless. Qin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but it was really difficult for this underworld boss. The godfather of the mafia, the youngest godfather of the mafia in the history of the United States of America, was a man with facial paralysis. When he spoke to others, his words were priceless. However, when he spoke to Qin Chu, he was a chatterbox. In fact, neither Rick nor Cece asked Huamin to be the chief surgeon. After all, they knew that Huamin was injured and that they were recovering. There was only one reason why Qin Chu said that. He continued to test. Although he had confirmed that she was an imposter of Huamin, he wanted to see how much preparation she had done. Could it be that Huamin was best at medicine? For some reason, perhaps because of the tacit understanding between husband and wife, Qin Chu felt that this imposter didn't know medicine. Because ever since she came back, she rarely came to Southside. As expected, he guessed right. This was the imposter's shortcoming. She actually didn't know any medicine, but she continued to pretend to be Huamin. This made Qin Chu feel even more disgusted. Chapter 42-23. Chu, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about my child. Qin Chu lowered his head. Rick's expression changed slightly, and he patted Qin Chu's shoulder. He handed him a coffee-flavored cigarette. Qin Chu took it calmly. Brother, don't think too much. It's all in the past. You'll have more children. You're still young. I'm not sad. It's all in the past. Rick thought that Qin Chu was sad about Huamin's induced labor. However, only Qin Chu himself knew where his Mian and child were. Why did they investigate for so long and even target the people in Yunnan who were bribed by this fake? However, no one knew where Huamin went. No one knew. Perhaps only the fake knew the truth, but now was not the time to shed all pretense of cordiality. More than an hour later, the door to the operating theater opened. A nurse walked out with a baby in her arms. Who's the father? I am. Rick walked over excitedly. Congratulations, it's a girl. She weighs 6 pounds and 8 ounces. Thank you. Rick took the baby from the nurse's arms. The moment Rick saw the child, his heart melted. She was so small, and although she was wrinkled, she didn't look good. However, Rick felt that his little princess was the most beautiful in the world. Cece's parents and sister also surrounded them. Seeing this touching scene, Qin Chu's heart was filled with mixed feelings. If he remembered correctly, Cece's due date was a few days later than Mian's. But Cece had already given birth. He wondered if Mian's child was doing well. Or was it? Would Mion be afraid and sad without him by her side when she gave birth? Qin Chu watched everything silently from a corner. Rick held the child lovingly. Cece's mother said 3 times, "Let me see." He refused to let go like a tyrant. Rick. Nielingxian reminded him loudly. He finally regained his senses. "Give the baby to us. We'll take him to the shower to clean up the baby's blood. Wait here for Cece to come out. She'll definitely want to see you." "Oh, okay." Hearing Nielingxuan's words, Rick reluctantly released the child. Then he carefully handed it to his mother-in-law, Cece's mother. Cece's parents and elder sister were also very careful the whole time as they carried the child away. Qin Chu and Rick continued to wait at the door for about 15 minutes. Cece was wheeled out of the operating room. Her face was a little sallow, and her hair was a little messy. There were tears in her eyes. Rick hurried forward, bent down, and kissed Cece's forehead. "Cece, thank you for your hard work. Our daughter is very beautiful. We are a family of 3. Cece nodded as tears flowed uncontrollably. "Why are you crying? Does it hurt?" Rick panicked. Cece shook her head. "Are you feeling unwell?" Cece continued to shake her head. At this moment, the chief surgeon couldn't stand it anymore and explained, "Don't worry too much." Many first-time mothers have complicated emotions. They will be moved to tears. Congratulations, the baby is very healthy and the operation is very successful. Now, take good care of your wife. "Thank you, doctor." After Rick thanked the doctor, he and Qin Chu wheeled Cece back to the ward. Qin Chu had something to do halfway, so he left after receiving a call. Rick sat by the bedside and carefully wiped Cece's face and hands with a hot towel. "I'm a mother." You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.